Working in retail means you find these a lot, Febreze designing its packaging to hide the fact it's only half full. If companies will do this with their awesome life-changing products that they care so much about, then what makes you think they won't do it to you, the employees? Anyways, with everything being so expensive now, I thought it would be fun to look at ways where corporations stealthily boost their profits under the cover of inflationary pressure or whatever else they can convince you of. It's not like you'll ever get to see those numbers. The only way we really even know about this is through earnings calls. Usually it's something like, we need to stay competitive, so we raised prices. And we're just going to keep seeing how far we can take it. Here's a fun little article. So Pepsi reported a net revenue growth of 6.7% for the third quarter. The company raised prices to keep pace with inflation and higher commodity prices. Its seventh straight quarter of double-digit price increases. The company says price increases will continue into 2024. So it raised prices to stay competitive with other companies just raising prices. Something I didn't know about the food and beverage industry. Apparently they're concerned with weight loss drugs causing people to consume less of everything, because that's what it does. It reduces your appetite. So how are companies responding to this? Pepsi is reducing portion sizes and the fat, sodium, and sugar content of its products in response to consumer demand for healthier food. This move toward more nutritious options is one of our key strategic pillars, he said. And by key strategic pillars, he means marketing pillars. Yes, you're getting less sugar, less sodium, and just less everything, and paying more. CEO of Walmart, he told Bloomberg that customers taking the drugs were buying less food, and food with fewer calories. Shares of both Pepsi and Coke dropped. Pepsi has responded to decline in sales volumes by decreasing the portion size and shrinking value packs, making them more affordable. Notice that it doesn't say decreasing the price, it just says, we're making them more affordable. Just don't look and actually think about it. On December 13th of 2023, a letter from the United States Senate was sent to the American Beverage Association, basically just calling them out on their nonsense. It says, while consumers bear higher prices, Federal Reserve data shows that corporate profits rose 5 times as fast as the rate of inflation from July 2020 to July 2022, and accounted for 41% of inflation during America's post-pandemic recovery. Down here, he gives an example of the Coca-Cola Company increasing the price of its products by 11% over the course of 2022. The company's chief executive said at the time that Coca-Cola had earned the right to hike prices for consumers. That's how CEOs feel about you. You'll pay whatever we want to charge you, and you'll be grateful for the awesome deal. Then it gives another blatant, even more in-your-face example. Pepsi's chief executive told investors that even though inflation was declining, their prices would not. A message reinforced by the company's chief financial officer, who said in a television interview that consumers generally look at our products and say, you know what? They're worth paying a little bit more for. But in addition to greedflation, corporations are also downsizing products without adjusting prices or clearly notifying consumers. In fact, shrinkflation has become so commonplace that Merriam-Webster added the word to its dictionary in 2022. Now, this part talks about the nitty-gritty of their marketing, and it makes me pretty angry because it just exposes all of their little tricks. They try and convince us is better for us and wow, more for our dollar, when it's actually less. For example, corporations may reduce size of containers by a few ounces, add air to a package, or even increase the divot at the bottom of a jar, all while maintaining the same prices or even raising them. And unfortunately, product sizes do not typically return to normal with time. If shrunken products are later upsized, corporations often advertise them as a bonus buy or more for your money, and sometimes sell them at a higher price. And in addition to hiking prices, PepsiCo engaged in shrinkflation. The company opted to change the size of one of its most popular products, Gatorade, a new aerodynamic 28-ounce bottle in lieu of its standard 32 ounces. Here's actually what they're talking about. You can see on the left, this is the Gatorade bottle that we all know and love, and this is the new Gatorade bottle that you've probably started seeing everywhere. 32 ounces, 28 ounces. But in addition to that, even in their other smaller sized bottles, Gatorade using the same size bottle with a bigger indent on the bottom, which would decrease the overall amount of liquid inside. And despite the change in size, PepsiCo did not change the price, increasing costs for consumers by 14%. Rather than paying less and getting more, the veiled corporate tactics of shrinkflation led consumers to unwittingly pay more and get less. And if corporations are this crafty with their products, just imagine the stealth operations happening in the digital world, where everything about you can be quietly packaged and sold without your consent. It's a world where your personal information is as commoditized as, let's say, a can of soda. But fear not, because this is where today's sponsor, Aura, comes into play. If you've never heard of Aura before, they're like the Swiss Army knife of online safety software. Aura acts as your digital guardian, shielding you with a suite of tools designed to protect your online life. Their VPN service wraps your internet connection in a cloak of encryption, making your online activities invisible to those prying eyes lurking in the shadows of the web. But the internet is vast, and dangers lurk in the most unexpected corners. That's why Aura doesn't stop at a VPN. They also offer comprehensive identity theft protection, constantly monitoring the dark web and other suspicious areas for any sign your personal information has been compromised. And for the parents watching, watching, Aura hasn't forgotten about you either. Their parental controls allow you to safeguard your children's online experience so you can manage what they see, set healthy boundaries, and even monitor their online time, ensuring they're safe from the less savory aspects of the digital world. When I signed up for Aura and I saw the amount of information that different data brokers had on me without me even knowing, it was a reality check. If you don't believe me and you want to see it for yourself, just go to aura.com/fluke or scan this little QR code or click my link down in the description and you'll get 14 days free and you can sign up and see for yourself. And then you can request that they delete your information. Anyways, thanks again to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Go support the people that support what I do here. But now, let's jump back to some Shrinkflation. Here are some images off the Shrinkflation subreddit, and I think it's pretty clever and kind of infuriating. So, you have two bottles here, pretty much the exact same size. One is 12 servings, and one is 8 servings. They're both 48 milliliters. That's definitely interesting, because if you just were to increase the amount of solution that you're adding to water so people get less servings out of it overall, and that would most likely change the concentration and people's flavor, and they definitely know something's off. I'd imagine the only way to really do this is to just dilute the product. When you come down and look at this comment on Reddit, it starts to make more sense. The serving size for one with 24 servings is 2 milliliters, and the serving size for the one I have is 3 milliliters, yet it's still listed as a 48 milliliter container. Here's another one from Olay. You can see two bottles roughly the same size. This one says 35% more, but you can see it's actually less. 887 milliliters, 975 milliliters. If you follow the marks on the bottle, you match it here, you can see that it's 35% more versus our Olay 22-ounce body wash. Duh. Yep, that's obvious. This is a bigger bottle with more in it that's priced more. I suppose we'll just start marketing our bigger sizes as 50% more than our smaller size. Like, that's all they're doing here. I think marketing is really interesting because how it tries to take advantage of people's psychology. And if you can learn to see through things, it's just hilariously bad sometimes. Here's another example of McCormick's marketing. Two bottles of parsley flakes. They're both about the same size. This one says it has 3 times more, but than our 0.25 ounce size. Duh. It is 3 times more than a smaller size bottle that you also offer. But marketing, no one sees that. They just see 3x more. You look down, you can see it's 0.87 ounces. It's actually less, right? This is... It's great. This one I just thought was funny. It was captioned, "Honey Bunches of Air." And as someone who likes this cereal, what are you doing out there? If you take a look at the chocolate industry, especially around holidays, shrinkflation is painfully obvious. For example, let's look at Valentine's Day chocolates. As a kid, you get a giant heart box packed full. Chocolate's already fallen out of it. And that's how it was for a bit. And then they started to add spaces between the chocolates and a bit more plastic, a bit less product. This was Valentine's of 2023, and they just put nice little things in there for you to read. Here you go, deal with it, same price, maybe even more now, probably more. When you look at this one, I don't know who runs the marketing at this company, but they're bold. So this is what it advertises, and then when you take the wrapper off, they just hide an entire row of what I imagine would be chocolate there. Anyways, greedflation and shrinkflation are out of control, and it's up to you and me to notice these things and call them out when we can. So if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, click that like button, click that subscribe button if you'd like to see me call out more of this corporate nonsense. It's subtle, it's covert, they're stealthy about it. I mean, it's clever and infuriating. Maybe share it with someone else who you think would get a kick out of this. Oh, and thanks again to today's sponsor, Aura. You can check them out with the link in the description. If you do, you get 2 weeks free. Go see what the internet has on you and then request that they delete it. Having said all that, I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll see you in the next one.